Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out AmItheA whole. Story 1. AITA for not feeding my husband because he caused me to have an allergic reaction. He technically didn't cause an allergic reaction, but he pushed me into it. I, 26F, am allergic to a plant that lives in the state my husband, 29M, and I have moved to. We aren't sure which plant yet but are narrowing it down kinda. My doctor has told me not to do any yard work whatsoever because I have an allergic reaction every time. Full body rash and swollen joints for like a week. Wearing gloves and protective clothes has not helped. My husband knows all of this. Yesterday he mowed, and pressured me into helping him rake up grass and weeds. I didn't want to, and I mentioned that I could have an allergic reaction, but he said that he needed help and that I would be fine. Against my better judgment, I thought that if I just raked and didn't physically touch anything I would be fine. I didn't want to refuse him when he insisted. Today I have a rash all over and a lot of swelling and I feel like shit. I normally meal prep for the next week on Sundays. This morning I half-assed threw me some salads in Tupperware for next week and called it a day. I eat a lot of easy stuff that doesn't require cooking, so it's fine. My husband on the other hand eats like 15 pounds of meat a week as well as vegetables and sides. It usually takes me hours to cook his food and it's very draining. I told him he needs to cook his food for the next week, because I'm too tired and my skin feels awful. He got mad and said he'd just eat takeout since he wants to relax on his last day off. So now I have to freeze all the meat so it doesn't go to waste. He only cooks once or twice a year. He thinks it's not fair for me to not feed him since I agreed to rake, and it isn't his fault I had an allergic reaction. I'm not trying to punish him, but I'm really suffering right now and I just don't have it in me. I also do think it wasn't fair for him to pressure me into doing something he knows I medically shouldn't do. AITA for not feeding my husband? Edit. Dang, you guys really hate my husband, haha. He's actually a pretty decent guy. I think this post just portrayed him in a bad light. He works 80 hours a week to support me while I go to school, and he still manages to do at least half of the cleaning. I talked to him and he said his back was just hurting and he was stressed out from work and he wasn't thinking. He apologized and brought me dinner while I laid on the couch. I'm not doing his meal prep this week because I really just can't, but we both came to terms with it. He'll feed himself and I'll try to manage my skin as best as I can. It looks awful and feels worse. He's not a lazy guy, he works hard to make things up in other areas, he just hates cooking. Which, to be fair, I hated yard work even before we moved to this shitty state where I'm allergic to everything. Story 2. AITA for yelling at boyfriend for missing my 30th birthday for his baseball game. I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years in a serious relationship. I turned 30 Friday and made plans to go out on my birthday with family. We are all super close, for dinner and a free concert in the city. He has one of his city league baseball games this day and said he wouldn't be able to make it to my birthday. He says he feels bad missing baseball because the team is short players and he is missing next week. We are out of town. He is on 2 baseball teams and a golf league, so he has sports in the evening 3 to 4 days a week. I have plans with friends on Saturday, day after my birthday, to go out day drinking, which he would be able to attend. He thinks this is celebratory enough. He has made no efforts to plan anything for me or help me make plans. This isn't unusual for him, but being my 30th I was hoping it would have some importance. Am I the asshole for yelling at him and telling him he has his priorities wrong about his conflicting baseball game? I told him he shouldn't have even questioned missing the game. Story 3. AITA for embarrassing my father by offering to stop telling my children that I love them. I call my kids boy, 15, and girl, 16. I love The Simpsons and I always thought it was funny that Homer referred to Bart as boy and Bart called him Homer. With my father everything was yes sir, no sir. I also constantly tell my kids that I love them and am proud of them. For some reason the name thing puts a wild hair up my dad's ass. He was over last weekend and he was vociferous about how I'm hurting his grandchildren by not calling them by their names. I told him that my kids were happy and to leave it alone. He just wouldn't drop it. So I called my kids over to where we were talking and I asked them if they wanted to be called by their names instead of boy and girl. I said in return they would have to call me sir, not daddy or dad. I said I would accept father in emotional conversations. But that I would no longer remind them every day that I loved them and was proud of them. They both did. They were happy with the status quo. They know what my relationship with my father is like. My father got all pissed off and said that's not what he wanted at all. So I asked him how often he told my sisters and I he loved us or was proud of our accomplishments or just as people. He said it was a different time. That his father was worse than him. So I asked him if he thought my kids were happier than myself and my sisters were growing up. I pointed out that my kids are happy. They are reasonably well adjusted. Now he is being pissy and my mom says he is upset that I think he was a bad father. He wasn't. He was just emotionally distant. I hated it. My sisters both had some therapy to help them choose better men. They both fell in love with any guy who gave them attention. My daughter knows her worth and won't settle for anything but the best. My son has no problem hugging me and telling me or his mom about his life. They are teens. I know I don't know everything going on with them. But I'm doing my best to be there and give them the support I never had. My kids know they are loved. I don't just say it. I try my best to show it. My dad thinks I'm being an asshole for pointing out where he didn't do great as a father when he tried to criticize my parenting. Story 4. AITA for not splitting my trust fund with my siblings. I, 22F, have a trust fund that was given to me by my great-grandfather before he died. My two sisters, twins F17, recently found out about my trust fund asking what their share is. I am the firstborn and my grandfather died way before they were born, leaving a very large sum of money to me and me only, since at the time I was an only child. My other grandparents on my dad's side created a trust fund for my sisters after they were born, so I didn't think I would ever have to think about splitting mine with them. About a year ago, my sisters have made it a point to tell my parents and other family members that I won't share with them. However, when I brought up that they have never once offered to split theirs with me, there would be no reason for me to split mine with them. This caused an uproar with my parents telling me I'm being greedy for not wanting to share with my sisters. My sister, who we will call Maddie, oldest twin, says that if they have to split their trusts amongst them too, then I should have to split mine with them as well to avoid anyone from having more than the other. I, however, do not wish to share, as I have worked hard to get mine due to the stipulations on the trust stating I needed to have graduated college. I want to use the money to pay off some of my student loans and put the rest into savings and leave a little bit for me to use to travel since I'm out of college now. This has been an ongoing argument for almost an entire year, and my parents are now threatening to cut contact with me since they apparently did not raise me to be so greedy. I love my sisters and I do feel a little guilty, and I'm at the point where I might just give in to avoid further issues. So AITA. Story 5. AITA for wanting to wear makeup to my friend's wedding. My 27F, good friend Mary, 29F, is getting married in 2 weeks. I, along with 4 others, are part of her bridal party. In the last multiple months, Mary has experienced cystic acne breakouts like she's never experienced before. We don't know the root cause, and I have been at her side trying to help with any methods that had helped me. I truly empathize because I suffered from terrible adult acne and still get the occasional noticeable breakouts. Mary told us yesterday in the bridal party group chat that she has asked us all to cancel our makeup appointments and wear no makeup at all, in solidarity for her. She still intends on having her makeup professionally done, and have us barefaced at her wedding. I do not agree that this is fair to ask of us. I do not feel good about going out of town to a formal event where I want to feel good about myself, alongside my boyfriend, completely barefaced. Mary is concerned we will draw attention away from her and that her acne will still be very noticeable even with the makeup. Bridal party is divided on what to do. Those who side with her say her wedding, her rules. I disagree. AITA. And AmItheA for showing up with makeup anyway? Story 6. AITA for telling my mom I'm too old to be grounded and leaving the house overnight. First of all, I'm asking if I'm the not if I'm the idiot. I've already been told what I did was stupid and I could have handled it better. I just want to know if I should apologize to my mom. My mom decided she wanted to take me 18F and my siblings 14M and 13F to the Renaissance Festival. I said I was working that day and couldn't go unless I found someone to cover my shift. She thought I wasn't trying very hard to find someone because I just didn't feel like going. That's not true. I wanted to go to Ren Fest with them but couldn't because work. No one could take my shift and I texted my mom that I couldn't go. She got me a ticket anyways. I refused to skip work and she grounded me for not using the ticket she bought me. She said it was my fault she got the ticket because I said I wanted to go to Ren Fest. Even if I paid her back, we still wasted money on it. At the time I didn't say anything because my siblings were there, but it bothered me she was trying to ground me. The following afternoon I wanted to make a quick run to the gas station so I wouldn't have to stop for gas in the morning when I'm rushing to get my siblings to school on time. Also we were out of bread so I thought I'd get some on the way back. I was in my room getting ready to leave and mom stopped me because I'm grounded. I told her I'm too old to be grounded and I can go where I want as long as I'm not coming home late. She argued she can still ground me and I'm not allowed out of the house. She stood in the doorway and blocked me from leaving my room. This turned into a big argument and unfortunately my siblings heard. She took away my keys, driver's license, school ID, phone, credit cards, cash, and laptop. I just needed to get out of the house and I left. We live in a rural area with no sidewalks. I wasn't really sure where I was going and got lost. Luckily a friend saw me and let me crash on her couch. I went to my classes as normal and got a ride home. I was locked out. When my mom got home she was pissed she had to take my siblings to school. It made her very late to work and she missed something important. She gave me my stuff back and let me leave to get a tank of gas. My aunt called me childish for running away just because I was grounded. My mom was worried sick when I didn't come home. I didn't go where I said I was going. I was gone longer than I said I'd be. Mom had no idea where I was for 24 hours because I wasn't answering my phone. AITA for telling my mom I'm too old for her to ground me? Do I need her permission to leave the house? That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.